the spin class scene, I was like, girl, how are you still a policewoman? Seeing Circus Baby in this movie showed that the events in Sister Location already happened, right? And he's still in his emo arc. How could this happen to me? Let's talk about the FNAF 2 movie. It was bad. We're here for the FNAF 2 movie analysis video. Okay, so I was so excited to see this movie. The first movie was really fun. There were some parts where I was like, what the heck is happening right now? There were so many things about the first movie. They lost me. But overall, it was a fun movie. It was a fun story, a cute adventure, and it modified the game in a way that made it appropriate for children to go and see in theaters. The second one was not. I need one of those things where the like the warnings that they give on drugs, where it's like, this movie is not rated for children under 18. This movie may cause nightmares and blah blah blah. Anyway, have I also there's a lot of things to flash here. There's the horror warning to flash. There's the spoiler warning to flash. There's probably a motion sickness warning. I need to add that to all of my videos. Yeah, just cue the scene where they're crushing the guy's head. Oh my gosh, chica, girly. I was not prepared for that. I also was not prepared for the bots to have voices, but let's do this in an organized manner so it doesn't feel like this review and analysis is all over the place. To start off, so yes, I said it was bad. There were things about it that were like, it just was bad. But that comes from someone who loves the FNAF games. That comes from someone who has played through almost all of, not including the spin-offs, all of the FNAF games and loves them and knows them relatively well, although there's such a huge audience out there that knows infinitely more than me, and I hope they chime in on this video because this video is for you all. I feel bad because after I went to see it, I had very few things that I could write down that I liked from the movie as I was writing my thoughts. The best part of this movie, the cutest part in the world, is the intro. I think this is how they started the first one too, I can't remember, where they have the really fun 8-bit style and they have like all the animatronics going into the back rooms and everything's in this fun 8-bit style, and they had Puppet up there. I took a little picture of it in theaters because it was so cute. They had Puppet rising up and controlling all the little animatronics and this 8-bit art. It reminded me so much of Pizzeria Sim and all the other games. So cute. Obsessed. From movie to movie, from the first FNAF movie to this one, it doesn't play like a sequel, right? The first movie is all about Abby and Mike and their sibling relationship and their brother Garrett and how much they love each other and they're all going to come back together. And the second movie destroyed that. The second movie said, they literally took Mike's character and they went, gone. Vanessa comes up to him and is like, hey, yo, Abby's doing some crazy criminal things. I've got concerns. And he's like, you don't know a thing about me or my family. And also, you're shady. It just felt like they used Mike's character, Vanessa's character. Abby's character didn't change much, but especially Mike and Vanessa's characters for the plot, like to twist the plot however they wanted. And so in that context, they completely abandoned the plot of the first movie. There was no, other than the plane that was in it for half a second, there was no connection to Mike being like, hey, I really want to go find my brother again. In this movie, he literally says, I've moved on, I had my dream sequence and it helped me, and now I'm done looking for my brother. Like, I get you gotta move on, you gotta have your own life and be free, but I feel like this is the closest that he's come to actually finding answers. And now all of a sudden for the plot, he's like, I don't care anymore. Okay, really what it was, I think, is this entire movie was about Vanessa from beginning to end. And that's okay. But like I said, from movie to movie, it was very jarring. It's not a good sequel if you're watching these for like a movie series. Not good at all. But for a game to movie adaptation, I thought it was pretty good. Granted, Vanessa's character still shouldn't be in any of these movies at all, but that's okay. I actually felt like the end of this movie kind of brought all that together, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Some more things that I really liked. I thought the Faz Talker was so cute and fun. I thought that was a really unique touch, a really cool way to tie the other games into the movie. A lot of what they did with the plot, what they did with Henry, Emily, and so many things. I can't remember. There was something specific that they had that really tied these movies together, or I guess that really tied the game timeline together. Really made sense, and I was like, oh, I don't have to go watch a 3-hour long here's everything you need to know about Five Nights at Freddy's and the way that the timeline goes and what order you should read all the books in to understand what's happening in the world of Five Nights at Freddy's. I really liked that. The Faz Talker to me was so reminiscent of Pizzeria Simulator, which I thought was so cute because that's one of my favorite games. I also thought that the animatronics looked so real. I didn't research at all about the movie. I know for the first one they built real animatronics. I'm assuming for the second one that they did. But the animatronics looked really, really good. Puppets animatronic was very cool. It looked like a puppet. The whole floating demon wall climbing creature hovering above the air thing was kind of weird. I didn't love the animation for that. The people that I went with were kind of like, what the heck? But I was talking to Debro about that part after the movie, and he said he felt like that was actually a really well done nod to classic horror. He felt like the possession aspect was very accurate when you watch other horror movies, which I personally would have no knowledge of whatsoever. And so if that's true, you'll have to let me know in the comments because I don't know, then that's really very well done, which is great. I thought it was so cute that the original animatronics came back and saved them. That was such a cute, like, goody friendship feeling of, okay, we bonded over the first movie, we built a fort together and became friends, and Abby's looking for her friends this whole movie, so when they came back, I thought that was really sweet. I also thought the going to heaven concept was really sweet. They don't really talk about that in the games. We don't get the perspective of the children at all, or know ever what happens to them beyond getting their revenge on Springtrap, more or less, in the back rooms and that kind of thing. I also loved the ambient noises. This is something I talked about lacking, I think in one of the trailer reviews I did. This is something that really lacked from the first movie. FNAF relies heavily on ambient sound. The first movie didn't have that at all. They had the cute fun music, which I missed in this movie, but this movie had a lot more ambient horror, which is great. The balloon boy giggling, perfect. I thought that was executed flawlessly. Something that they did almost right, they did so close, and I wanted it to be better, but that's okay, was the view from the back office where you're sitting in your chair, right? We had Mike sitting in the chair. He could see down the long dark hallway. He could see the vents on the sides. No, he couldn't. I loved the part where Mike's sitting in the back office. He can see down the hallway. We know this is the classic, you're in Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria in the game. But I wanted more from that scene. I wanted to be able to see the vents. I wanted him to hit the vents. Oh my gosh, this annoyed me so bad. They had the vent button. They had the on switch. Oh my gosh, they could have used it so easily. Mike could have gone bop right in the scene, turned it on. It would have been so satisfying, and we didn't get it. And I was super bummed. I wanted more of the view too. I wanted the shot down the hallway to be like the entire view. I feel like in the game you can see more, and it wasn't quite the same, which is okay. It's a movie adaptation, but I've also seen movies where I felt like they did it really well. No doubt fans got what they wanted. I saw so many reviews after the first FNAF movie begging for more graphic horror. They wanted more gore, they wanted more FNAF, they wanted more animatronics devouring people and tearing them apart, and they got it. Oh my goodness, I was closing my eyes in this movie. Some mother brought her little child, and I was like, ma'am, I hate to break it to you, but this game is not for children, despite the children that say that it is, and I'm sorry if that offends you, but it's not. This is intense and serious stuff, and I'm not really sure who the target audience is, but wow, it was an intense movie, so good job, you got that on. So, I have some questions, mostly regarding the character of Vanessa, and I'm going to look at my notes to make sure that we accurately go through these. 1, why is Vanessa the only cop in the entire town? 2, how does she have her badge? After the the spin class scene, I was like, girl, how are you still a policewoman? Next question. Where was her gun in the scene with her brother? This whole movie, the girl's trigger happy. And then the one scene she needs it, she's like, oh, I don't know where that is. So that kind of felt like bad writing to me. That was something else Debro mentioned. He felt from the instant that Abby and her school friends started talking, he leaned over to me in the theater and was like, the script is so bad. This is not to hate on the movie, by the way, but rather to assess how it could improve and to look forward to the next one and hope that it will improve. This is also things that I've seen online, especially regarding the script. Kids are kids. They're going to talk like kids. And I feel like, especially as a writer, as someone who writes creatively and for fun, I have to research and I have to put in the effort to understand how individuals different from myself are going to respond to things, react, communicate, etc. I felt like, and many people felt like, that was lacking in this movie. Next question. Why did Mike still have a key to the old pizzeria? And how did Abby get inside in the first place? There's a scene where Abby goes back to the old pizzeria and she's like, oh no, I miss my friends, blah, blah, blah. And she goes inside and Mike pulls up. Abby's sitting there in front of the empty stage, I think. And Mike comes up and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. This is the scene before he asks her what she wants from the Pizzaplex, I wish, from the pizzeria, and she chooses the Fast Talker. I was so confused because where is the government in this movie? They talk about the aunt, like, being sent away or whatever, and so obviously we know they're legal figures in this movie. There's governmental things happening because she tried to take Abby from him in the first movie. But how does he still have a key to this building? And how did Abby get in without the key? And this is the first building, mind you. This isn't the primary pizzeria of the second movie. They go back to the original, or I guess they go back to the other one that's not the original. Can you be more confusing? They're giving us work. FNAF gives us big brain work to do to keep track of all this. Okay, just a couple more thoughts, a couple more questions, things to stimulate conversation more than anything. Overall, when I got out of this movie, I had good vibes. I had good feelings. I was like, you know what? This movie was a lot of fun. I want to watch it again. I think part of why my perception of this movie started out so negative is the entire 2 back rows of the movie theater were individuals like making comments, chatting, screaming, clapping at unnecessary points the entire movie. And so unfortunately, that made it really hard to enjoy the movie when you're not respectful of others in public spaces. Like, I get you want to have fun with your friends, but that makes it really hard for other people to appreciate what's happening. So I would love to see the movie again in the comfort of my own quiet home without that happening. It was cool at first because it was like, oh yeah, they're like enjoying the movie and that's so fun. But when it happens the entire movie, it's like it's not funny anymore at that point, unfortunately. So 2 more things to discuss. Something that really perplexed me as I was watching this. They revealed Michael Afton, right? They were like, oh my gosh, this is your brother, blah, blah, blah. And I felt hardcore like this whole, I want to continue my father's legacy, blah, blah, blah thing was not his personality. That to me felt like they just were using him for the plot, where they were like, yeah, we need someone who's not Springtrap but can continue the plot to do all these things. And so that like really bothered me because I always felt like he regretted the crying child's death, and so I kind of hoped, I mean, we see it happen in Sister Location, where he is kind of like, whoa, I don't want to be scooped, guys, and we're trying to see what's happening with Elizabeth, which, that was crazy. Seeing Circus Baby in this movie showed that the events in Sister Location already happened, right? Arguably yes or no. It could be that the events in Sister Location already happened and Michael's already scooped and he's got Endo inside him. I don't know the Endo's name. Endy? Enderman, Slenderman, I don't know. It could be that that's what happened. It could be that that's not what's happened yet and he's still in his emo arc.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run. The night goes on as I'm fading away. I'm sick of this life.
After talking with my sister about this movie, she's read a little bit more of the actual books and the synopsis of those than I have. She was saying in the books that apparently initially Michael did help his father. He was trying to support his father as he's navigating this path, which I don't blame him. Years of fear and manipulation will do that to you. And that's kind of what Michael said to Vanessa at the end of the movie. He was like, we can't leave. We're his children. We're stuck here. We're stuck doing this. So he may have felt resigned to this path. I think maybe them implanting Vanessa's character isn't as much of an oversight of like, we don't care what game she's from, as much as maybe they're just implanting her early and making it work. If we know that Michael, Elizabeth, and the crying child already exist, it could be this is taking place like 10 years later, and now Vanessa's here, and she's still a sibling of the other three as well. She's just a lot younger than them. That goes into probably my last thought for this video. Hopefully it hasn't been too much aggravation as much as just trying to understand and better connect with this movie, because I had really high hopes and I want to see a third one. I hope they make a third one because I love this series, but I really hope that I hope that it's more aligned with the second movie than the second movie was with the first movie, you know? Kind of like I talked about at the beginning. First and second movie, they're like cousins or like next door neighbors. I hope that the second and third movie are like siblings, you know? Speaking of siblings, going back to Vanessa, I think that so initially I was thinking that having Vanessa possessed by Puppet was kind of just like a tap out cliffhanger ending where they're like, ooh, oh my gosh, she's been possessed. Go watch the next movie where she turns into Puppet. But then afterwards, in talking with my sister and a couple other people, I realized maybe that's actually the beginning of her turning into Vanny, which would make a lot more sense. That actually would make me feel a lot better about the movies as a whole. I guess really what's happening here is I can't see everything, obviously, that the writers and creators, or writer, if it's just Scott, everything that's going on in their minds or where they're taking it. So I guess I'm utilizing this platform as a way to communicate my thoughts, my curiosities, where the fan's mind, or at least this fan's mind, is going with the track, and we'll see where it aligns with the third movie. Overall, I liked the movie. I really did. I would invite you and encourage you to watch it, gather your own thoughts, and then come back here and talk to me about them, because overall this is an open place and I'm happy to discuss and learn and understand this world better. At the end of the day, it's a game and we all perceive aspects of it differently, so that's what makes it enjoyable. I'm so glad that you've stuck around this long to watch this video and discuss this movie with me, and let me know in the comments what you're thinking about all these different things and if you're excited for hopefully a third movie. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!